Excellency, former President John Dramani Mahama, Your Excellency, Head High Commissioner, Mr. Sukant Rajaram, former Vice President of the National House of Chiefs, Nana Kwebosi, Togbe Mamao, the Speaker's representative, members of the Bai community, ministers of state, other members of parliament, brothers and sisters from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you here. I welcome you all to Hope very warmly and to this year's Durbar. And I thank you all for coming. I thank most especially our distinguished guests of honor, the High Commissioner of India for accepting to be with us today. And I thank also very especially former President John Dramani Mahama, who defied all the odds to be with us this afternoon. This year's celebration is under the theme, Let's Eschew Greed and Corruption and Unite for Peace, Development and Prosperity. And we have chosen this theme in order to inspire our people for the collective assault on greed and corruption, the twin evils of our time. This celebration is special because it's the first since we did the last one 4 years ago. And it's also the first post-COVID. Very importantly, during this festival, we introduced 3 new programs. One, that's Corruption Day, to focus attention on the evils of corruption. The Youth Empowerment Day, to focus our attention on the need to inspire our youth and to empower them because they are the leaders of tomorrow. Many of us, the elderly ones, have only a few more years to live in this world. The future belongs to the youth, and we have to help them to secure the future. We also held a summit of every chiefs, consistent with our program to bring all the chiefs of Africa together so we can support the efforts of AU and also after towards Africa's economic integration. We believe the chiefs are the best vehicles for prosecuting the agenda of these 2 bodies because the chiefs are closer to the people, they know their needs and they communicate directly with them. But we believe that charity begins at home. So if we want to bring the chiefs of Africa together, we must start from our own brothers and chiefs, the chiefs and queen mothers of every descent, so that our unity can inspire the greater unity of Ghana, Togo, Benin and Nigeria, and also inspire the integration of all of Africa. I have deliberated a lot, and reflected a lot on matters that have affected our progress as a nation, our state, and the situation of our economy. And I've been extremely worried about the lack of reasonable progress on the economic front, the poverty that is afflicting our people, the seeds of division that has been sowed among our people, mostly by politicians, and also the helplessness among our youth, the frustration that they suffer because of their inability to get jobs even 5, 6, 7 years after completing university education. These have been matters of grave concern to me. And of course, the recent outbreak of COVID has exposed our vulnerability as Black people of Africa because of our inability to deal with the effects of COVID without the support of outsiders. The same can be said about our problems with meningitis and Ebola. Those all require support from outside and have exposed our vulnerabilities. And I'm saying that our economic problems predate COVID and they predate the Ukrainian war. We are lucky to be endowed with so much, 30% of all known mineral resources of the world, so much of the world's arable land, yet we contribute so little to the world's output, and we remain poor. And the worst part is that we have become highly indebted. More worrying is the fact that while we accumulate a lot of debt, we cannot tell exactly what all the debt has gone to do for us. So we still lack a lot of the base facilities, poor roads, and that has been witnessed by those of you who came from far away. From Accra to Ho, you saw how bad the road is. From Apollo to Ho, you saw how bad it is. What is more worrying is the fact that many of these roads used to be very good. If they used to be very good and they are now so bad, it means that we have actually retrogressed as a country. These are matters that have concerned us and for which we have been searching for answers. We still have enough hospitals, not enough schools, and people still go to square trees. And unfortunately, I've heard many of our doctors are looking for jobs, they can't find jobs. Mostly because we don't have the facilities for them to use. Meanwhile, we need their services. I made an example of what a short period it took to build the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world in Dubai, at a cost of 1.4 billion US dollars. It took 5 years. So it's worrying that our short road from Ho to Sokone, very few kilometers, is taking more than 6 years. Those are matters that are very worrying to us, and they tell the state of our economy. We are still suffering, in the midst of all of the joblessness, escalating prices of all commodities, and also declining value of the local currency, the cedi. Those are worsening our plight and also worsening the joblessness. I've said that happiness is the desire of all of us. That's the essence of life. And that is why God has brought us into the world. And that essence is being recognized by our founding fathers, who thought that when we are liberated from colonialism, we can do better for ourselves. They believe we are good and are capable of managing our own affairs. The framers of our 1992 Constitution also recognize that we need development, and that is why they've charged governments to focus on development that brings the basic needs to all and sundry without discrimination, and also to open opportunities for all of us. But the truth of the matter is that we have not met the expectations of our founding fathers, let alone those of the framers of our Constitution. What are the causes? The most important is the fact that we don't accept the truth anymore in this country. The truth depends on who you are speaking to. The countries that have done well are countries that uphold the truth. And that is why we want to urge all Ghanaians to acknowledge the truth. Leaders should accept the truth, both chiefs and politicians and others. I also noted that we have done too much politics. Everything is seen to point out lenses in our country. Development should be the essence. Politics is not an end in itself. So I encourage us all to pursue the path of development as the ultimate objective in partisan politics. It is important that as politicians, we aim for the good of everybody. The winner takes all kind of politics is hurting. And that has made politics look like a matter of life or death. And that is not what's supposed to be. Of course, we've singled out corruption as the biggest challenge of our time. Corrupt officials cannot help to achieve our objectives because they are focused too much on making money for themselves. It is important that we focus on the objectives of state, objectives for our companies, and reduce that perchance for taking what does not belong to us, so we can move our country forward. We also don't take waste in the use of our nation's resources. Those are matters that must be dealt with. The ex gratia payments that are non-deserved, the sale of vehicles that are only a few years old to their users, while the country goes through for money to buy new vehicles. Government officials traveling with reckless abandon. Today they are in London, tomorrow in New York, leaving work undone while they spend our scarce resources traveling. Those are areas of waste that we have to deal with. But it all requires that we have good leaders. Leaders who want to leave genuine legacies. Leaders who are concerned for everybody and not just their close relatives and friends. Leaders who seek the good of all. And of course, it includes us as chiefs. We all must be good leaders so we can bring the development that our people require and that they deserve. And also the youth are very important in this regard because the future belongs to them. So we have to empower them so that we can be sure that our country will be left in capable hands when we, the elderly, are dead and gone. It's a great honor for me to have all of you here this afternoon or from morning to afternoon. It's a great honor that you've come here to join us to celebrate this important occasion. We look forward to having you here in future because as many of you have found out, it is an annual festival and one that has development as an important objective. I want to thank our distinguished visitors for taking all the time to be with us. I want to thank all who have come from far and near. And I want to urge all of us to recommit ourselves to the fight against greed and corruption so we can unite in peace and for development. Thank you all very much and God bless us all.